Imagine you're at a cafe. You walk up to the counter and the barista asks, "What can I get for you?" You have a choice: regular or decaf, hot or iced, with milk or without. It feels like a simple, personal, and fundamentally good thing, this act of choosing. It's a small expression of your individual freedom. The ability to choose is a cornerstone of our modern world. We believe that the more choices we have, the freer and happier we will be. But what if that deeply held belief isn't a universal human truth? What if it's a powerful cultural story that we've been telling ourselves? And what if, in some cases, the very abundance of choice we celebrate is actually making us less effective and less satisfied? This is the fascinating, mind-expanding, and deeply philosophical territory explored by psychologist Sheena Iyengar in her brilliant book, The Art of Choosing. This is not just a book about how we choose, it's an investigation into why we choose the way we do, and what the act of choosing really means. Today on Geeky Philosopher, we are going to deconstruct the very act of choice itself, to uncover the invisible forces that shape our decisions, and to learn the true art of choosing wisely. The book begins by establishing a baseline, the powerful American cultural narrative that equates freedom with unlimited individual choice. From a young age, we are taught that expressing our unique preferences is a sign of a healthy, independent self. We want to be the captain of our own ship, the master of our own destiny. But Iyengar, who is herself the daughter of Sikh immigrants and also happens to be blind, has a unique perspective. She has lived in a world where some choices were made for her, both by her culture and by her physical reality. This has made her a keen observer of the assumptions we make about choice. She starts with her own famous scientific study, the jam study. In a gourmet food store, she set up a tasting booth. On one day, the booth offered 24 different varieties of jam. On another day, it offered only 6. So what happened? Well, the booth with 24 jams actually attracted more people to stop and look, but here's the stunning result. People who stopped at the 6-jam booth were, get this, 10 times more likely to actually buy a jar of jam than those who stopped at the 24-jam booth. This was, honestly, a scientific bombshell. It was concrete proof that an overabundance of choice can lead not to freedom, but to paralysis. When we're faced with too many options, we become overwhelmed and simply, choose not to choose at all. This is the first crack in the dogma that more is always better. Segment 2, the cultural divide, is your choice, my choice. The next step in Iyengar's journey is even more profound. She questions whether the desire for individual choice is even, a human universal. She conducted another brilliant experiment with young children. She took a group of Anglo-American kids and a group of Asian American kids and had them work on puzzles. Some kids got to choose which puzzle they worked on. Some kids were told which puzzle to do by the experimenter, and some kids were told that their mothers had chosen a puzzle for them to work on. The results were fascinating. The Anglo-American kids showed the most motivation and performed the best when they chose the puzzle for themselves. This fits our Western cultural story perfectly. But the Asian American kids, who often came from more collectivist cultural backgrounds, were most motivated and performed the best when they were told that their mothers had chosen for them. For them, the choice made by a trusted, respected figure was a greater source of motivation than their own individual preference. This reveals a profound truth. The value we place on individual choice is not a law of nature. It is a cultural story. In some cultures, a good choice is one that expresses your unique self. In other cultures, a good choice is one that strengthens your connection to your community and honors the wisdom of those you trust. Segment 3. The illusion of control. The forces that shape us. Even when we think we are making a free and rational choice, our decisions are constantly being shaped by hidden forces we don't see. Our brain is lazy, and it looks for shortcuts. The choice architects of the world, the marketers, the politicians, the designers know this. Iyengar explores how easily our choices are influenced. The way a question is framed can completely change the outcome. If a doctor says a surgery has a 90% survival rate, far more people will agree to it than if they say it has a 10% mortality rate. It's the exact same information, but the frame changes the choice. We are powerfully influenced by default options, as we learned in the book Nudge, and honestly, we're swayed by what is most available in our memory and by the emotional stories we tell ourselves. The lesson here is not that we have no free will. Instead, the lesson is really one of humility. It's a reminder that we are not the perfectly rational, independent choosers we like to think we are. Our choices are constantly being shaped by our culture, our context, and our own cognitive biases. The art of choosing well, it begins with the awareness of these invisible hands. These biases, they become even more powerful when the stakes are high. The book explores the most difficult choices we have to make in our lives, particularly in medicine and in love. Iyengar uses the provocative but insightful example of arranged marriage versus love marriage to challenge our Western assumptions. We believe that the free, individual choice of a partner, the love match, is the only path to a happy marriage. But the data she presents is more complicated. While love matches often start with a higher level of passionate love, studies have shown that, over the course of 10 years, the love in arranged marriages can often grow to surpass that of love matches. Why? Iyengar suggests that in a love match, the choice is based on a powerful but often fleeting emotional connection. In many arranged marriages, the choice is based on a more pragmatic assessment of shared values, family compatibility, and long-term stability. The love is not the prerequisite for the marriage, it is the product of the marriage. The point is not that one system is better than the other. The point is that our deeply held belief that unlimited individual choice is the only path to happiness is a cultural bias, not a universal truth. After taking us on this fascinating tour of the science and culture of choice, what is the ultimate lesson? How do we become better choosers? Iyengar's message is not to abandon choice but to become more artful and intentional in how we approach it. First, we must become the curators of our own choices. In a world of overwhelming options, we must have the wisdom to impose our own limits. Consciously reduce the number of options you consider. Second, we must become experts in our most important domains. For the big, high-stakes decisions in life, we cannot just rely on our gut. We must do the hard work of gathering information and seeking out the wisdom of others. And finally, we must have the humility to recognize that choice is a shared, social act. We can learn from the wisdom of other cultures, and, we can lean on the people we trust to help us navigate our most difficult decisions. The art of choosing is not about the frantic pursuit of the perfect option. It's really the calm, conscious, and deliberate practice of making a choice and then having the wisdom to embrace it, to find the good in it, and to move forward without the poison of regret. This book is a profound and necessary challenge to one of the most powerful ideologies of our time. It is a call for a more nuanced, more humble, and more global understanding of what it means to choose. If you are someone who is ready to move beyond the simple idea of more is better, and to explore the deep and beautiful art of choosing a life of intention, then you are a student of this work. Consider subscribing to Geeky Philosopher, where we are dedicated to questioning our own assumptions to build a wiser life. Thank you for your time.